Welcome back here to this weekend's edition of This Week in Agribusiness. We spent the week with a lot of farmers. We were here in New Orleans for the meeting of Commodity Classic. It's a joint meeting of farmers, growers who produce sorghum, wheat, soybeans, and corn, along with the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. There are quite a few people coming from all over the United States for this show every year. They estimated, for example, last year about 10,000 in total attended, and of that total, somewhere in the neighborhood of a little bit under 5,000 were farmers. This year, as they talked about issues, the president of the American Soybean Association shared with us input concerns were high on the list, making sure the inputs are available for the planting season ahead.
First and foremost, we've all experienced the challenges of first pricing, the price increase, just getting prices in some instances. For us, we tried to get a lot of our inputs, such as crop protection products and fertilizer, priced and possibly booked before the end of the year, and that has been a real challenge. As you know, a lot of our chemicals we can store on farm, but when you talk about bulk fertilizer, it's not an option for many of us.
Farmers have long relished their role in helping supply our energy needs. And Chris Edgington, president of the National Corn Growers Association, is optimistic that can be an expanded role.
And then on the flip side is if you want to go to the demand side, is the ethanol, the ability for ethanol to fill some of the gaps, or renewable diesels or biodiesel. Our plants are in production, they're already producing. We've got plenty of crop on hand to go into that market and traditionally does, and so we can fill part of that energy void and help lower the cost to the consumer.
Farmers like Brad Doyle and Chris Edgington will tell you that these are important times for farmers to be a member of an organization, a thought echoed by Steve Senske, who is Chief Executive Officer of the American Soybean Association.
Well, certainly we're in exciting times, and there's lots of opportunity ahead, and things are looking bright, but there's lots of challenges as well. And I guess my message would be for soybean growers is that's why organizations like the American Soybean Association exist, because we're the ones that are out there working with our government, working to make sure that we have the right policies in place, working to try to shape and hopefully enact the right policies and have the right policies pursued, but also then to push back against some wrong-headed policies that are out there. I mean, we're working every day to try to expand trade opportunities, create demand through new uses like biofuels. We're working as well to making sure that farmers have the inputs, whether those be the crop protection tools or fertilizers that they need in order to plant their crop and be successful.
Steve has ample experience working in Washington. In addition to being in the soybean industry for many years, he was a Deputy Secretary of Agriculture during the Trump administration.
People are looking, and I think that's a good thing about agriculture, and we find that on the folks that we deal with in the Congress. Agriculture has tended to be bipartisan. The issues have not split along some of the same partisan lines like we see on other issues. And so there's folks on both sides of the aisle that want to come together and try to pass and do the right thing. The same thing in the administration. We work with both Republican and Democratic administrations. We've had a great relationship with Secretary Vilsack previously when he was secretary, and are working with him and his entire cabinet and department again now.
Farm organization leaders such as John Linder from Ohio, a corn grower leader, would hasten to point out that there is strength in numbers.
There's 40,000 members and 300,000 corn farmers. We'd love to grow that membership. The membership brings such value, especially when we're advocating. We can share with folks in Congress, members of Congress, folks in the industry, the stories we tell. We represent 300,000 corn farmers, but there's a bit of gravitas to the membership number, and it brings tremendous value. So we really value our memberships. We always strive to make that membership grow.
In tragedies such as we are seeing played out in Ukraine, there are still some opportunities, especially for growers from the United States. Tom Haig, a longtime corn grower leader from Minnesota, shared with us.
A lot of that corn went to the close countries right to there. Well, now with that turmoil they have over there, the ports are done. those countries are going to have to start looking for corn, and we're hoping they look at our U.S. corn and want to import some of that.
United States Department of Agriculture reevaluated in the supply-demand report the export potential out of Ukraine yet, and I think some traders were saying that's pretty optimistic.
It's optimistic, but we don't know how long that's going to last over there. That's the key. If it would close here down within a week or whatever, but how long is it going to take to get those ports back open? How much damage was done? So I think we can still be optimistic that we can still have some trade with those countries.
The U.S. Grains Council has been working around the world for actually more than 60 years to develop markets. Farmers like Tom point out that work that has been so crucial in helping develop and maintain markets around the world remains as important today as ever. So it's just a reminder that you have to always be doing some salesmanship around there because there's some stiff competition for what we grow in the United States. We had a great opportunity to visit with farmers from a wide geography of the U.S. during Commodity Classic this year, back in action once more after that year off during the pandemic.